Just 30 miles outside of Manhattan, the Serra-Longo fight team has dominated the tri-state area, training elite athletes competing for UFC gold. Today, we follow UFC lightweight Matt Frevola as he prepares to enter the octagon on January 22nd for UFC 270. He will take on undefeated UFC newcomer Genaro Valdez. Valdez currently holds a record of 10-0 and is the 15th ranked lightweight in Latin America. He trains at Entram Gym in Tijuana, Mexico, home to current flyweight champion Brandon Moreno. Frevola will be looking to get back into the win column and keep his UFC run alive.
I've been here for over 10 years. I found these guys back in 2007. Tore my ACL, and they rehabbed me all the way back from an ACL injury, and they've got me back from any injury. And every fight camp, they make sure I'm strong, I'm fast, and I'm ready to go. And now I'm like 5 weeks out, so I'm usually here like 3 days a week. Strength and conditioning guys for like MMA, they kind of just try to like drill you into the ground, like go hard, and just like the harder the better. And then by the time you get to your martial arts training, you just shot, and then you get hurt. This kind of strength and conditioning, it builds me up, it keeps me fast, it keeps me strong, keeps me healthy for my most important martial arts training. That's why I like them here. They keep me feeling good so that I can get the most out of my martial arts training. So.
I got this one.
All right, so I've known Matt for about, we're probably going on like almost 10 years, 10 plus years, I would say. So Matt trained here back when he was in high school, and then was out in Tampa, and then came back to start training for fighting. So what we're doing, Matt, is we're doing a little bit of a combination between plyometrics and a little bit of strongman training. So strongman training is a combination of working his strength, but also improving his endurance. So as a fighter, he's going to get way more of that compared to doing conditioning on a bike or on a treadmill as well. So we work with a lot of high school and college athletes. We work with a lot of lacrosse players. We work with a lot of, football players, baseball players. We have pro hockey guys in facility, pro football, you name it, we train it.
Let's go, baby, let's go. We're done here. First session of the day done, off to the next spot. 2 days before I'm supposed to fly to Vegas, I get a call from like Jeff Novinsky, who's like the USADA guy, and he's like, I hate to tell you this, but you're COVID positive. You're not fighting. And I'm like, no, like I got two negative rapid tests. Like I'm not sick at it anymore. Like I have no symptoms. I'm good to go. And then he's like, I'm sorry. Like you're positive on this, but you have no symptoms. Did you test positive anytime like recently or in the past? So then I finally came out and told him everything, and I told him that I tested positive on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, and then he was like, all right, this is good, because I guess since it was like 10 days since I tested positive and I showed no more symptoms, they're counting it as residual, because like I was negative on rapids, but I was still positive on PCR tests, and it ended up that I was positive on PCR tests for like 4 months after I was like positive. And I was negative on rapids, positive on PCR tests, and it was just because the PCR test was just like picking up the residual COVID or whatever. But the UFC was cool about it. They knew it, and they still let me go to Abu Dhabi and fight. Yeah, just finished a nice strongman day at Xceleration. Now we're gonna go hit LA Fitness and get a little swim, little swimming. I love swimming. You know, my knee's a little messed up, so I don't run as much. But I like to get like my cardio in the pool, and it's, you know, I don't listen to music when I swim. I'm in my own head. It works my breathing, it works my heart and my lungs, and it loosens everything up. I'm a big swimmer, you know. I like to think of myself as a shark in these waters, you know. And you know, sharks got to do shark shit, and that's what we're about to do.
My name is Robert Vanacore. I'm a Golden Glove boxer, USA boxer, world champion ringside, and my man wants to ask me a couple questions about the next champ. I know Matt from working out this pool together. I know his father better than I know him. His father's name is Sal. But I know Matt wants it really bad, and he works hard. I don't think he's going to let anything stop him. That's what his goal is, to be a UFC champion, and I think he's got the right work ethic, because I've never seen him playing around. I see him working out hard all the time, and he's enthusiastic. I believe he will be a future champion.
We just got a nice swim in. I just swam like 1,000. You know, a good pace, just loosening everything up, and then I always get a good stretch in the pool afterwards. And after this, we're gonna go to jiu-jitsu, go to Serra BJJ. We got a nice gi class coming. You know, a lot of fighters don't really like to put the gi on, but you know, I think the more jiu-jitsu, the better. And the gi slows everything down, helps you focus on your technique. And you know, I really fell back in love with my jiu-jitsu, you know, this camp. And I like to put the gi on like once a week, just to break another sweat, have some fun, and you know, choke some people, you know. Sonny's CBD. I rub this thing on anything that hurts, and I'm good to go, baby. Shout out Sonny's. Thank you guys. Tough Mexican fighter, fighting out of Tijuana. You know, undefeated, 10-0, a lot of first-round finishes. And he's tough, you know. He's not like one of those traditional Mexican boxers. I think he's like a new age Mexican MMA fighter. You know, he's not afraid to grapple. He's you know, he throws bombs and then tries to grapple, but I love the matchup, man. I love fighting tough guys. I love fighting undefeated guys. You know, I remember when I came off the Contender Series, I was undefeated, making my UFC debut, thinking my shit don't stink, you know, and I kind of got a wake-up call, and that's what I plan on doing to this guy. You know, I've been where he's been. I've been undefeated. I've been making my UFC debut, and you know, I'm a welcome him to the big leagues, and you know, show him that this is a different level, and that, you know, he's never fought anyone that like me, and it's gonna be a fun one for sure. I love all these old school posters, Serra posters.
So when Phil goes to dismount and goes to finish the choke, my first movement is to get out on my hip. All right, so if I'm flat on my back and flat on my shoulders, is another magic to the choke. So I want to get on my opposite hip. All right, so facing away from Phil, not aiming in towards him. That's going to actually make the choke tighter. All right, my second movement is to engage the rest of my body. I'm going to reach up and I'm going to grab my leg. So my hand is going to go behind my knee. My other hand clasps a hold, and I start to kick and make space. You guys can hear the difference in my voice already. All right, that's making that space to keep that shoulder away. All right, so I can't just grab my hand and let Phil squeeze. All right, that's still gonna be applying the choke. All right, so we're gonna go from here to our hip to grab that leg, we're gonna kick. Now our other leg is gonna start to walk as I go to kick, and it's gonna get me to my knees. This is gonna start to escape the position. All right, now we have two ways of going. If he goes with this, and I can grab a hold of him, I can take him right over, step, drop my shoulder to his hip to stop him from being able to get underneath me, and I can turn towards his hips to finish. If he starts to pull away in that position, do like almost like a duck arm. So, here, again, I get to my hip, stretch, I start to walk with that bottom leg, I get here. If Phil starts to try to pull away because he feels like he's going, I take a step, duck my head under, I start to go towards his back. On your side, and if it was still trapped in there, you can almost get your elbow out of there. I'm a Matt Serra BJJ black belt. I've been training under Matt for 16 years. I started first day of jiu-jitsu, school next door, and been training here ever since. I met Matt, I believe he was pretty much just out of high school. He came in here before he moved down to Florida. He used to do some wrestling classes with us whenever he came back. Now once he's been back, he's been kind of splitting his time between New York and Florida. We see him a lot. We see him a lot in the gi as well. Obviously, a lot of the MMA guys do the no gi classes with us. Matt's one of the guys who throws on the old jacket and pants, and man, he really puts himself out there, becoming more and more technical, and you can see it in his fights, increasingly stepping up technically as far as jiu-jitsu and obviously stand-up as well.
Feel good, man. Nothing but beasts on these Serra BJJ mats. Now we're gonna go get some food. Gonna go get me some eggs, some avocado on a nice Long Island flagel. Not a bagel, a flagel, a nice flat bagel. And we're gonna head home, eat up, rest up, and then we're gonna head out to Longo and Weidman for the night training. So let's get it.
Hey, how you doing out there? I am the Steamroller's dad, also known as the Bulldozer. Well, I don't know, I could say a few things about Matty. When Matty was growing up, we used to call him the Rocket, and we used to call Jimmy the Scrapper. Jimmy would scrap his way into everything. Matty was just gifted. He had it all. You know, he was the captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team, captain of the lacrosse team. I never missed a game until we went to Abu Dhabi, and I didn't get to go. But anyway, he's a good kid, smart, although Jimmy is the best athlete in the family. Other than that, this has been the greatest time of my life. Matty has showed me my second half of my life to be so good. I've been everywhere with him, Thailand, Vegas, you name it, we've been there. It's a great thing. He's a good kid, and he's going to be the champion.
So Matt and I actually just recently got married this September. We got married out in Montauk, a beautiful ceremony by the lighthouse, and then celebrated all night long out in Montauk. And then for our honeymoon, we had 2 legs. So the first leg of our trip was to Italy. We started off in the historic district of Rome. For Matt, it was his first time in Europe, so obviously had to do all the touristy things, the Colosseum, Vatican, Vittorino. Then we ended up in Florence, where we spent a few days in the actual city of Florence, and we did a Tuscan wine tour where we visited a few local vineyards and brought some delicious wine back with us. And our final destination in Italy was the Amalfi Coast. Most beautiful romantic place in the world. If you haven't been, 10 out of 10 would recommend. We stayed in Priano, but we visited the Isle of Capri and actual city of Positano, which is pretty famous if you see pictures of it. All cliffside and beautiful. And the second leg of our trip took us to Africa. So we ended up on the island of Seychelles. It's actually an archipelago, very reminiscent of the Caribbean. Beautiful white sand beaches, crystal clear blue water, and all the tropical goodness.
Perfect. And Matt has a fight scheduled on January 20th. What are your feelings a month before the fight?
I think this is going to be his best performance yet. Every year he grows and evolves as a fighter. He has so much in his arsenal that he has been waiting to showcase for the fans. And I'm really excited for the UFC, the fans, and the world to see what he's going to do.
Yeah, you know, I grew up an athlete, always playing sports. Like I got a twin brother. We grew up playing baseball, football, you know, lacrosse, just always competing and playing sports. And you know, I tried to get him into wrestling, but I remember in like 8th grade, he came to one of my wrestling camps over the summer, and he got kneed in the balls and like pissed blood, and then that was the end of his wrestling, and that was the end of his grappling. But now since I started fighting, he's like a huge MMA fan, and he likes to come in and train, and like he likes to stand up, you know. So I actually got him a rough and rowdy barstool boxing fight. So we turned it into my bachelor party, and me and all my buddies went out to West Virginia for a rough and rowdy, and like I trained my brother. Like I put him through a whole fight camp, made sure he was ready. You know, we ain't going to West Virginia to lose, you know. So I made sure he was ready, and we went out there. My brother like knocked out some West Virginia hillbilly in the first round, and we had a great time. It was a great bachelor party, and yeah, let's see. You know, he always pops up to the gym every once in a while and like spars with some of the amateurs and stuff. And he's one of my biggest supporters, and you know, he's always involved in every camp.
So I was actually in the gym at the time. I got a call from Maddie, and we had been really trying to brainstorm what we wanted to do for his bachelor party. I was the best man, so he calls me up, and I would say I actually had the idea, but it was more of just kind of like me and him kind of like bullshitting, and I was just kind of like, you know, there is a rough and rowdy coming up. Maybe we hit up Robbie, and you know, you can corner me, ha ha ha. But you know, 5 minutes later, you know, I'm finishing up my my gym session, and I get a call, and he says, I talked to Robbie, you're in. Your training camp starts tomorrow. So definitely a little taken back, but you know, if you know me or you know Maddie, we love to compete. We're athletes. It's definitely been something I've always wanted to give a try, especially seeing how good Maddie is. And from there, I mean, it was just a great time. We always wanted to give him the feeling that kind of like we as fans has always felt going to his fight, which is kind of like he's in the ring and you just got to watch and just hope for the best. But now it was kind of time to flip roles where I was in the ring and, you know, he couldn't go in there and help me. He had to be outside the cage and just kind of hope that all the training and the preparing paid off. So it was a lot of fun. We went out there, we got the KO, and we went and partied for, you know, his bachelor party. So great times.
Yeah, heading to the last session of the day. Going to Longo and Weidman MMA, and you know, this is the fighters gym. This is where the Serra-Longo team, this is where we spar, this is where we do, you know, we fucking do our cage wrestling, we do our grind out here. Yeah, you know, Longo's a legend of the game, you know, the godfather of MMA, and he's one of the best striking coaches and just all around MMA minds out there. And the thing about Longo is, you know, if he trains you, if he takes you as, you know, one of his own, he'll die for you, man. There's not a thing that he won't do for you. He's as loyal as they come, and he's as real as they come. You know, one thing is like he tells you how it is. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he's been in the game so long, he's coached so many champions that when Ray tells me that I'm ready, that I'm on point, you know, I believe it. And having a coach like that believe in me and help me and do, you know, do everything he can do to help me prepare and come out and corner me means the world to me. And like, you know, even though not even just the UFC fighters, he helps everybody, all the amateurs on the team, all the up-and-coming pros on the team. You know, just over the past weekend, like he was out in Atlantic City cornering two of our guys who had big fights and big wins, and then Saturday he flew right to Texas to corner another one of our guys who had another big fight and big win. You know, he'll do anything for us, and you know, we appreciate him for that. He's the man. What up? How we doing?
There he is.
How we doing?
1, 2, 3, body, body. Leave it out. 1, 2, 3, body, body.
My name is Eric Heyer. I'm Maddie's kickboxing, striking for MMA, whatever you want to call it, coach here in New York. And we've been working together. You asked me before, we worked together for about 3 years, right after the Van Ader fight. You know, he's a pleasure to work with. He comes in and he tells you exactly what he's going to do. He's got his little process, and you kind of go with it. And sometimes you trick him into thinking, do something, make him think it's his idea. But he's pretty easy to work with. He works hard and stuff, so pretty good. Longo's been doing a lot of stuff with him too for this fight.
That's the best one. So you got the single.
My name is Steve Lee. I'm the manager of Longo Weidman MMA. I'm also an amateur fighter out of the gym, and I've known Matt since actually just before he actually kind of started at the gym while he's still in Tampa, Florida. I honestly think this is going to be the, knock on wood, I think this is going to be the best performance Frevola's had. I just think he looks on point. I think this is the first fight he's put everything together and is just mentally where he needs to be.
Yeah, being around Matt Frevola, training with Matt Frevola, he's been my sparring partner. I've been his sparring partner. I mean, we've pushed each other for a while now. You know, all my big fights, he's always in the gym pushing me to be better every day, and you know, he's the guy that's always the hardest worker. He's always working hard, and then when he gets into the cage in the octagon, he turns it up another notch. And he's a guy that just loves to fight. He's got the right mindset for it, and I'm really looking forward to his fight coming up here in January.